and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today these are the netted fringe Christmas ornaments that I will be making. Most of the components came from the Potomac Beadbox Treasure Edition. And yes, while I am filming this, it is only September, so it might seem a little out of season to be making Christmas ornaments, and I'm certainly not trying to skip any holidays. What I am doing is preparing. I've been making a few Christmas ornaments recently, and so I've had it on the brain. And when I opened up the Treasure Edition bead box, to me, I just saw that I could make it. And that's one of the great things about the Treasure Edition is you can absolutely let your creativity run. Those bead boxes are really, really amazing. And if you're interested in either one of the Potomac bead boxes, either the kit edition or the treasure edition, or like me, you're interested in both, I will have all the information in the description box below. I highly encourage you to go check them out. Not only do they have an amazing bead box subscription, they also have a fantastic website that has just about anything you could need for the jewelry making hobby. So if you would like to see how these Christmas ornaments came about, then stay tuned. I'm going to start with the tools that I will be using. I have one set of cutters and a size 10 beading needle. I have one thread zap 2, and I will be using 8-pound fireline in the color Smoke, which is this black color. And I usually get the 125 yards just because I go through it so quickly. And I am using these 60mm Christmas ornament. They are about 2.3 inches, 2.36 inches to be exact. The one that I got comes in several different finishes. Like this is more of a glitter finish, kind of a foam ball. And it also comes in this just plain white color right here. And I want to mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set. And as the name suggests, these tools are very comfortable to use. They are very high quality, very well made. And for me, they just seem to fit adult size hands. A lot of times, for whatever reason, jewelry making tools will be quite a bit smaller. And they certainly function. But for me, when I found these, I just can't imagine going back to using anything else. So I will have this tool set linked down below along with everything else I use in the video that did not come from the bead box. So I have already threaded my needle and I have a full wingspan for me where I hold one end and hold my other hand all the way stretched out. And without a doubt, I will be adding more thread than that. So unless you want, just yards and yards of thread, I would start with whatever you're comfortable with, knowing that you probably will have to add more. So what we're going to be doing around this Christmas ornament is a basic netting, and then we're going to be adding fringe to the bottom. So while we're creating the netting, I can set this Christmas ornament aside. I will also link down below the opening video I did for both the Treasure and the Kit Edition bead boxes from Potomac Beads, and they will have a detailed description of all of the beads that came from the box. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 48 11-0 seed beads in whatever color you're wanting the netting to be. I'm having it this really pretty red color, so I added 48 seed beads. And once you get the 48 on there, I have it pushed all the way to the end. There's the end of the thread, and I'm going to put my needle through all 48 of them again. So usually what I do is see however many I can get at a time and then pull it through and then go through the next group. So there's what I have right now. There's my tail and there's my active thread on this side. And I'm just going to tie a basic knot over under like you're tying your shoes. And then I'm going to do it a second time. So here is my circle. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that tail off. I've tied the knot twice. And then right where that knot is, there's a little bitty nub. So I'm going to grab my thread zap and push that button. And I'm going to melt that down just a little bit. Just like that. Here's how I'm going to be doing the netting. One big thing to remember is the number 10. All of my sections of 11-0 seed beads across the net all the way around are going to be in sections of 10. So I started with one 4mm bicone and 10 seed beads. Push this down. So here is the one strand coming off of the circle at the beginning. So I have 10 seed beads in between each section, and I have 5 beads on the outside. And then at the bottom here, I have a 4mm pearl, and across the bottom, all the way around, I'm going to have the pearl as one single strand across the bottom, and throughout all of the netting, there are going to be these bicones. And I pick up 3 more 11-0s, and I'm going to go back through that pearl at the bottom. Make sure it's just that pearl. You don't want to go back through any of the 11-0s that are there. Then pull it through. And you want this strand to be kind of snug, just no loose beads through here. So you want this pulled a little bit. And then you're going to have the little triangle there on the end. So right now I'm coming out of the pearl, and I'm going to pick up 10 more 11-0 seed beads and 1 bicone. And I'm going to go ahead and push it down. And then 10 more 11-0 seed beads. All right. And we're coming out of the pearl. We're going to skip the next bicone and go through just the bicone of the next one. So no 11-0s, just that bicone. And then pull it. And it should look something like that. So I do this again, 10 11-0s with 1 bicone. And after I push that down, I get 10 more 11-0s. And I push that down, and I'm going to go through the bicone at the very top. Just that bicone. Pull it through, and you have our first section of netting. So here is how we move our way around the top. So every time we're going to move in sections of 4. So from right where we are at that bicone, I'm going to go down 4 11-0 seed beads and come out. And then we're going to come down, and here is where we just start building onto our net. So when you're coming out of the top, the first one you're always going to pick up is a bicone. And at the end, it gives a really pretty ring of bicones. So just like that, a bicone and 10 11-0s. And when I push this down, now we're coming out of the top. So we're going to go through this part of the bicone right here at the beginning, just like that. So I pick up 10 11-0s and a bicone, push that down, and then 10 more. And then I'm going to skip this one and go into the one here at the bottom. And pull that through. So you can kind of start to see how we're building our net. So I pick up 10 more and a pearl because I'm here at the bottom now. And then I went ahead and picked up the 3. Push that down. And here, just like last time, I'm going to skip those 3 11-0s and just go back up that pearl. Do not go back through any 11-0s when you're at the bottom. And as you can see, when I pulled it snug, I'm coming back out of that pearl. And here's where it gets repetitive. So you're going to pick up that same 10 bicone 10 and then attach it to here. So as you start going, you might be able to pick them up like this where you can go a little bit faster. So I have the 10 bicone 10. Push them down, and from here I'm skipping this one right here, going into the next one. And then another 10 bicone 10 to get us back up here at the top. Just through that bicone. And here is where it starts to get repetitive. But to me, this kind of stuff is a lot of fun because it starts to look really, really pretty. So you're going to do this, and every time you get back up at the top, you're going to go over 4 more beads and then go back and do it again. So I'm going to break now, and we'll meet back up when the net goes all the way around, and I'll show you how I attach the other 2 sides together. All right, so here it is. Here is the full net right here. I've made my way all the way around the circle, and as you can see, it's got that nice ring of bicones. And I am right here back at the beginning where there is only 4 beads in between which would make it very symmetrical for the rest of the way around. So right now, I have just gone down the last time and I added the pearl and the 3 beads at the bottom, and I am coming back up, but I'm coming right out of that pearl. So now is where we're going to connect these two sides together. All right, so I've picked up 10. You will not pick up any more bicones for this part, for the net. So I push those down. All right, so from here, I'm gonna connect it to the bicone on the opposite side at the bottom and then pull it through. And you don't have to worry about getting it super tight right now. Once you get it all the way through to the top, you'll be able to pull it snug. So I pick up 10 more, push them down. And from this one, I'm gonna go to the next one up on the opposite side. We're gonna kind of make a zigzag pattern back and forth. And as you can see, it closes up that bottom diamond shaped, I guess. So I'll pick up 10 more, push it down. And then from here, I'm gonna go to the opposite one, just like that, and pull it through. And as you can see, it's closing up. And pick up 10 more and push them down. And now we're gonna connect this last piece. So we're coming out of this bicone right here, and we're gonna go to the one here at the top and come out. So now here is where you can kind of hold on to the beads in that line and kind of pull it a little bit snug. But now it should close that net all the way around. So here at the top, I'm gonna go over a couple more. You don't have to worry about going 4 over because we don't have to add any more, but go over 2 or 3. I'm gonna go 3. And again, you wanna kind of hold on to that and pull it pretty snug so that there's no big gaps in the net. And then I'm gonna tie this and knot it off right here. So I'm just gonna put the needle under the ring here at the top, pull it until I have a loop there. I'm gonna put my needle through the loop, and I wanna pull this kind of slow so I make sure it's closing at the right point. Just like that. And I'm gonna go one more to make it a knot. Same thing, needle through the loop, just like that, hold it. And now I'm gonna go up here and get as close as I can with my cutters and cut that thread. And where that nub is right there, I'm gonna take my thread zap and burn it just a little. Melt it down. And that's it for the net. That is the net part of it. So when I take my ornament, the net should fit right over, just like that. And honestly, I think this is beautiful just as it is. You could probably put a hook on it and, hang it like this. I think that's really pretty. However, I, of course, am going to add some more. I'm going to add some fringe here at the bottom. All right, so to start this fringe, I'm going to go at any point, it doesn't matter which one, I'm going to pick one where the pearl is, and I'm going to pull it to the end of the thread, just enough so I can make a knot, and I'm going to make a knot right here, right before this pearl, and just over under tie it just like I'm tying my shoe. I just want to make sure it's on that one right before the pearl, just like that, and then tie it really snug. And I'm going to tie it again, pull it snug. And I went ahead and took the net off real quick so I could cut off that end, and I cut off the tail, and I'm going to take my thread zap one more time and melt down that edge that I just made right there at the pearl. So now you have an active thread coming out right at that pearl, and I've put the net right back on. In the beginning, until you snug this down, you're gonna have to kind of hold it so that the net doesn't fall off of the ornament. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go through that pearl and through that 11-0 at the corner, and then through the 11-0 at the end, just like that. So here is where you're going to be connecting at each one of the points coming off. All right, we're coming out of this one right here. And I have picked up 2 11-0s, a bicone, 2 11-0s, and I'm gonna go into the next point, just like that, and pull it. And while it's loose like this, you're just gonna kind of have to hold it like a baseball. And again, 2 11-0s, a bicone, 2 11-0s, into the next point. And this time we have one 1 11-0, a bicone, 1 11-0. And this right here is the pattern that we go around. So we have 2 11-0s with a bicone, 2 11-0s with a bicone on, with the 11-0s on either side, and then 1. So then we're going to have 2 on either side, 2 on either side, 1. And we're going to do that all the way around. So 2, 2, 1. 2, 2, 1. And then we will meet back up once we get around. All right, so here we are now. And I'm adding the last one, which has 1 on either side, 1 11-0. I'm coming out of this one right here, and I'm going to go back through, and I'm going to go through as many as I can. There you go. And then pull it snug, just like that. So now I'm going to go all the way back around, just through all the beads that are there to reinforce it. All right, so here it is, and as you can see, the net stays on now once it's secured here at the bottom. And again, this could also be a stopping point. If you just didn't want the net to hang loose, if you wanted it secure around here, just like this, just another alternative. So now, again, I'm going to add fringe. So every point where the pearl is, where that 11-0 is, every point is where I'm going to add fringe. And then you'll see once I come back up, I'm going to go to the next point of that 11-0. So I'm going through the bicones to the points where each pearl is. That's where each fringe is going to be. Now, some of the beads that I'm using for the fringe, I'm going to be using these really pretty clear beads that almost look like it has that splatter paint on it. And of course, these beautiful lampwork beads. And I'm going to have my Christmas snowflake charms at the bottom. So for the first fringe, I have 7 seed beads and then one of the long beads. And then I have 7 seed beads and a pearl. And then whenever I use a lampwork bead, I'm going to have a pearl on either side because the hole for the lampwork beads is a little bit bigger. So I'm going to have 7 11-0s, a pearl, a lampwork bead, and a pearl. And then on the last one, I'm going to have 10 11-0s, and I'm going to use one of the charms. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to push those 11-0s down, go through the loop of the charm, and then when I go to the end of the fringe, as you can see, I'm still going through that loop, I'm going to go back up those 11-0s. And actually, I'm going to go back up everything. I'm going to go back through the pearl and then pull it tight. So it's going to be just like that. And you want to make your way up all the fringe. All right, so now I'm back up here at the top. If you can see, I know it's very small. I am coming out of that side of the point. So I want to secure it by going through the other side of the point. So just like that, I'm going through the other side of the point, and I'm going to go ahead and make my way to the next point and then come out that next point. And then there it is. There is one of the fringe. So that is exactly how I'm going to make each one of the fringe. And like I said, I'm going to make it at each one of the points. All right. So you want to go through the bicones, and at each one of the points, you're going to make a fringe just like this. Of course, you can use whatever bead you like if you don't have the treasure edition, but these are the ones that I am using. And of course, I will have these snowflake charms linked down below. So we will meet back up after we have all the fringe. All right. So here we are, and I have now added a fringe to every point on here. Every point where the pearl comes down, that is where I added a strand. And I will hang it up on a display here in just a few minutes so we can see it better. But even just kind of laying here on my hand, I just love how all these beads look together. They're so pretty. All right, so here, let's close it out. So where I'm at right now, this was the last fringe that I added. This one right here. So when I came back up, I went the opposite way through from the way I came out, and then I went down till just past the bicone, okay? So added that last fringe, and I just went down a couple of beads, and now I'm coming out the bicone right there. So here, all we have to do is simply make a knot. So I'm gonna put the needle underneath, And when I pull it up, I'm going to put my needle through that loop that I make. And then I want to pull it kind of slow so I make sure the knot forms at the right part. I want to make sure the knot is right there by that bicone. Just like that. And when it falls in the right spot, then you want to pull it. And then I'm going to do it one more time. And then pull it snug. Just like that. So I'm going to get close with my cutters. And then right there where it's coming out, you can barely see it, but you see the little nub there by the bicone. I'm going to go in with my thread zap and melt it down. Just like that. And there it is. It is complete. I have the netting, of course the circle at the bottom, and the beautiful fringe. And what is really nice about this fringe is that, I mean, you can just put any beads, any order that you want. I think these lampwork beads are just so pretty and they stand out so nicely. Again, here is the other one I made with beads from the treasure box, and I just think they are so pretty. I love those tile beads. And then of course these flower cup beads, I just think they are beautiful. So I'm gonna set these up on my display so that we can see them better. All right, so here they are, and I am super excited about how they came out. I just think they're so pretty, and I have plans on making several more of these. I like how the different beads in the fringe can give it a completely different look. And of course those snowflake charms, I think that just kind of adds a touch to it. It's really, really nice. And I really like those black and white lampwork beads. I think they work really well for that ornament. And of course those tile beads, when I opened the box, they didn't really scream festive as far as, you know, I think they're pretty looking, but I don't know, I think they work. I think they go so well with those gold seed beads, and I love those flower cup beads at the bottom. I just think it looks so nice. And they're very unique. If you make these and kind of give them out as gifts, handmade, probably not going to have a lot of people giving the same gift as you if you're giving these out. So once again, if you are interested in the Potomac bead boxes, either the kit edition or the treasure edition, or like me, you're interested in both, I will have all the information in the description box below. I highly encourage you to go check them out. Not only do they have fantastic bead boxes, they also have a wonderful website. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so, so kind, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.